Are you thinking of buying a new construction home? Well, I love new houses. I love that new house smell. I love that you get all the latest bells and whistles, but the process is a little bit different than buying a resale home. So today, I'm going to give you 5 tips if you are considering buying a new construction home. Tip number 1, you want to have representation when you're looking at new construction homes. A lot of people think since you can just go to a model home, talk directly to the builder's rep, that you don't need to hire a realtor to go with you. I would definitely recommend that you still use representation for yourself even when you're going through the new construction process. That builder rep might be really cool and super helpful, but at the end of the day, they work for the builder and they are not representing your best interest. They're going to do whatever is in the best interest of their employer. So it's good to have somebody there who can negotiate on your behalf and who can really go to bat for you if there are problems along the way. I know I can speak from experience. There have been times where I've had to get clients out of a new construction contract because they weren't happy with the builder, we were having issues, and they needed somebody to go and fight for them, advocate, and help them get out of a contract that they really didn't in the end want to be in. So it's really important that you don't just go directly to the builder. You're not going to save any money that way, I hate to tell you. Builders have a whole separate account budget set aside to work with realtors. In fact, the vast majority of their deals, they do work with realtors because they understand that people want to have representation when they're buying one of the biggest purchases they're going to make in their life. So my first piece of advice would be contact a realtor, tell them which builders or which neighborhoods you're interested in, and let them go with you as you go around to tour those model homes. They know what questions to ask, they know what's typical in a builder contract, they know what's not typical, and they can help guide you through the whole process. At the end of the day, we want to make sure it all goes smoothly for you, and you want to have somebody who works just for you, making sure that you are getting what you want and you're happy in the end. All right, so tip number 2, let's talk about the process. The fun thing about building a home from dirt is you get to pick everything, starting with your lot. So you can actually pick out where in the neighborhood you want to be, if you want a cul-de-sac lot, if you want a particular street. You pick your lot, then next you pick your floor plan, and then you also get to pick all of your finishes. So that's the accessories, the hardware, the lighting, what color flooring do you want, what color do you want your cabinets to be. It's really fun because you get to truly make this home what you want it to be. Now, it can also be a little overwhelming. You have to make a lot of decisions down to what type of doorknobs do you want. So it's a lot, but a lot of builders will have a design center that you can go to. You can actually meet with a professional designer that will help you as you're picking everything out to make sure that it all goes together. Your realtor can help you with that too. Since you are starting from literally a dirt lot and going all the way to a finished house, the process obviously takes a lot longer than buying a resale home. Depends on the builder, but most new homes can take anywhere from 5 to 8 to 9 months to complete from start to finish. So it's a long process, but it's a great process if you have something really specific that you want. And this way you get to pick it all and make sure that you are getting the exact home that you want to move into. The tip number 3 is make sure you understand the timing of buying a new construction home. I just mentioned it earlier, but some new builds can take 5, 6, even 9 to 12 months to finish, depending on what's going on with that builder. New construction may not be the best option for you if you have to be in a home within the next month or 2. It's really for you whenever you have time and you have a place to live, you're not in a rush, and you can let the whole process go from beginning to end. You also need to be somewhat flexible with new construction because there are delays that we can't get around sometimes. Weather delays. If we have a bunch of rain, sometimes that puts a pause on things. Permitting, waiting on permits to come back from the city. All of these things can sometimes slow down the process. So it's good that you are flexible and you're in a situation where you can close earlier, you can close a little bit later, and you're not going to wind up homeless. If you really need to be in something soon, then what we call a spec home or an inventory home might be a good option for you. A lot of builders will have sometimes homes that are already built or they're already under construction, they're underway. You don't get to pick your finishes in that case, but you can get a brand new home without having to wait so long. Those are questions to ask your realtor and to discuss with your builder representative, but it's just really important that you understand it is not a fast process. You need to be patient and you need to be flexible. So tip number 4, even though the house is brand new, you still want to get a home inspection done. These homes are built by subcontractors and they're humans. Sometimes humans make mistakes, and we always want to make sure that you are getting a home that is in excellent condition and nothing has been missed or done incorrectly throughout the building process. Now, if you're building from dirt, we actually do 3 inspections. We call it a 3-phase inspection. They do the first one after they pour the foundation. The inspector comes out out and make sure that the foundation looks good. They do the second one before they put up sheetrock. So the inspector can come out and actually look inside the walls and check and make sure that the electrical and plumbing have all been done correctly. And then we do a final inspection at the end to make sure everything is in working order. Like I said, these are built by humans. Humans sometimes mess up. With almost every new build that I've had with clients, there are a few things left at closing that need to be addressed or fixed. We want to get that inspection report and then provide it to our builder rep a little before closing so we can make sure that before we sign off, everything has been taken care of and you are getting a home that's exactly in the condition that you wanted. It does cost a little bit of extra money, but I promise you it's worth it. This is a big investment. You want to make sure that there's not going to be an issue that comes up later down the road. Most builders are good about fixing things if they mess things up, but even after closing, it's hard to get a hold of that builder sometimes. You may not be able to get them out to address something. So if anything's wrong, we want to catch it before we go and sign all the closing documents. If you're building a spec home, you're usually not going to get to have that first or second phase inspection, but you still want to have a final inspection before closing. They will also have their own inspections. They're going to say that the city comes out to inspect, but like I said, you want representation for you throughout this process, not just from the builder. So you want to make sure your guy comes out, takes a look at everything, and if anything needs to be fixed, we get it taken care of. And that brings us to tip number 5, and that is the contract. Each builder has their own contracts, and it's a lot different than a resale contract. One of the biggest differences is if you're buying a resale home, you usually have what we call an option period, where if you change your mind or you find things during inspection, you can get out of that contract. Builder contracts do not have an option period. Once you sign, you are locked in. The other thing is the builders obviously write those contracts to protect themselves, and there are some things in there we can negotiate, and there are some things that honestly no builder is going to change. Again, that's why it's really important you have a realtor there with you. We look at these contracts all the time. We can tell you what things are very common and what we see with all builders. And if we see something that's out of line or unusual, we can point that out to you and bring it up. Things that we can negotiate. We can negotiate sometimes on price. We can negotiate on what upgrades are included in the house. Maybe you want blinds or a sprinkler system, a certain type of flooring included. We can try to work those in sometimes. Also, builders a lot of times offer some incentives. They might offer you credits to the design center or closing cost credits, or maybe an incentive that you can use to buy down your interest rate or get a lower price on the home. It just depends on the builder, but there are different incentives going on all the time. Again, when it comes to negotiating, this is why you want to have a professional representative with you. We can keep an eye on things and let you know if everything looks good or if anything looks out of the ordinary. There you go. That's 5 tips when it comes to new construction, but of course there's a lot more than that goes into the entire new construction process. So if you ever have questions, we are always happy to answer them. It's great to do a little research before you buy new construction. What's going on in the area? Are there schools being built, shopping, dining, things that might impact positively or negatively the sales price, the future resale value of that home. So we have tons of information. We love working with builders, with new construction clients. We do it all the time. And if you ever are not sure or have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help.